Welcome everybody. Today's unit is going to be starting off with what we call conic sections, and we're going to be focused on one particular type of section. But before we get started, you have to know what is a conic section. So a conic section is when you take a cone and you slice it different angles. So I've got a picture here of two cones that are sitting on top of each other, and if you notice, they've taken this plane and they've sliced the cone through the middle. So that shape that's created when you slice it is going to be considered a conic. And the first one that we're going to be talking about is a circle. So what we have here is when you slice a cone horizontally, you're going to have a circle. And that's the first conic shape. Circles should be pretty familiar to you. You know that they have a center and they have a radius, but just so you have the formal definition, a circle is the set of all points that are equidistant from the center. And so there are infinitely many points that are all the same distance from that center point. And the distance from that center point to the circle is called the radius, and we use r to represent the radius. Okay, so hopefully those seem familiar to you. And just a little quick side note, if I ask you to calculate the radius, or later when you need the radius length, if I don't give it to you, you might need the distance formula. So we're going to start off with what's the equation of a circle look like. The first equation is the most basic function for a circle. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. And in that example, the center is 0, 0. So it would be any graph with a center of 0, 0. The second equation is the same formula, it's just if your circle is shifted, so up, down, left, or right. And notice that here we've got these h's and k's in our equation with the x's and y's. So those h and k values would become the center, and they're always going to be opposite signs. Very similar to what we've done with graphs before with shifting, so h goes with the x, k goes with the y. So same concept, just applying it to circles now instead of our other graphs. So for example, I might give you the equation x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16. So here we could find that the center is going to be the point -3, +2. Notice that they change signs and then go as an ordered pair. And then the 16 is the r squared. So to find the radius, we take the square root of both sides and we get that r is equal to 4. So every point we plot is going to have to be a distance of 4 from the center. So let's practice graphing a couple of those. Here we've got y minus 4 squared equals -x squared plus 36. Before you ever start graphing or working with the equation, always make sure that the x's and y's are on the same side. So I'm going to go ahead and add x squared over to the other side here. And when I do that, I get x squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 36. And now we need to go ahead and we need to find the center. So just by looking at our equation, we know that the center is going to be 0, +4, so we could plot that. And you can label it C if that helps you remember it's the center. And then we need to go ahead and find the radius. And remember, to find the radius, we're going to have r squared equal to the last number, and then take the square root of both sides, and we're going to get that r is equal to 6. So the radius is 6. And then the easiest way to graph this is to start from your center and then go up, down, left, and right 6 points. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and plot a point. 2, 3, 4, 5. Plot another point down and then go right and left. 1, 2. So there's another point, and then the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then all you have to do is connect your shape, do the best you can to make it hit exact. So mine's not perfect, okay, but you get the idea. So connect your points, and then there's your circle. So that would be the center of 0, 4 with a radius of 6. So I want you guys to go ahead and try this one. Figure out your radius, figure out your center, and then go ahead and plot. And if you have any questions on how to do that, make sure you make a note and ask me when you see me in class. The second example we're going to go through is if you are given the information and they want you to write the equation of the circle. So this doesn't involve any graphing. Instead, it's just using your center and using your radius to write the equation of the circle. So here we've got the center is -3, 8. The radius is 7. And remember, our formula says we've got x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All you have to do is plug in what you know. So this here is the h, that's the k, and then 7 is the r. So we're going to plug this in by having x minus -3 squared plus y minus 8 squared equals 7 squared. And then, of course, you want to simplify if you can. 2 negatives make a positive, so that would become x plus 3 squared. And then that would stay the same, y minus 8 squared, and then equals 49. And there's our final answer. I'd like you to go ahead and try this last example without me. This is one very similar to the example we just walked through. I've given you the center so you can plug that in, but instead of the radius, I've given you a point that's on the circle, and that means you're missing r, and that is going to involve using the distance formula. If you didn't write that down from the beginning of the video, make sure you go back and look at that formula. Try this calculating the radius and then plugging into your formula, and if you have any questions on how to come up with this equation, let me know and I can guide you through that in class. That's it for today. Thanks for listening.